Hello, 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 beautiful people across Africa and beyond. Welcome once again to our last meeting in July 2025, the second meeting of the month. We are glad whenever we gathered here because we know that we all have the same agenda to make sure that Cardano is well represented in Africa and in our various communities. Uh, Today, we are happy that at least Africa Townhall can boast of not only English speakers, but we have French speakers as well in our midst. It means we are expanding beyond the Anglophone to other linguas in Africa. My name is Daniel, and I am one of the pioneers of the African Town Hall, and I have my team that are doing so well, pushing, make sure that Africa is well represented. Like I said earlier on, we have Madam Ifia running a very big hub in Accra, Ghana, the Accra Resource Center. We have Obio doing amazing well, Remo Start in Nigeria and beyond. We have Boaz from DRC, also doing amazing. We have Richmond representing us from Accra, Ghana. He's also an advocate, a Cardano advocate, as well as a graphic designer. So thank you all for coming to today's Catalyst African Town Hall. And today, our topic is simple but very, very, very important, right? We all have heard about what's going on in the ecosystem, governance, DREPs, voting, and a whole lot, budget, treasury withdrawals, Amaru getting their first budget being approved. That happened 2 weeks ago, right? So what has happened since our last meeting? Since last 2 weeks, we did a Cardano 360, right? We discussed everything that is going on. But today we have a resource person who's well vested in the Cardano ecosystem, also a member of the Interset committee, and is no other person than our own Professor Obio, who will be giving us an update on the governance, Cardano governance, and we'll be tackling the what ifs and the why not, right? And I'm very curious, so I came with an open-minded to listen to what he has for us, and if there's any question, we can ask him. Obi have a style of presenting. It's a mixture of interaction, mixture of like lecturing, mixture of rhetorical, throwing rhetorical questions on us, So I like his style of handling topics like this. So he's a perfect person to do this. So Professor Obio, if you are there, please unmute yourself and tell us a bit about yourself, what you're up to, and take us up. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Daniel. And yeah, thank you, the lead for Cardano African Town Hall. Yeah, I am Ubio Obu, the CEO of Remostat. Um, Specifically with respect to Cardano, I'm Interset Constitutional Council member, and our core is actually to see how um, governance actions are being voted and ensure the constitutionality of governance actions, right? And so, yeah, sorry, just a disclaimer, I actually made our presentation, but I'm stuck in traffic, so I can't get my presentation out today. And it's also the reason why I'm not on camera, so that in case I drive into a place of low latency, it will not affect our communication. However, I'll do my best to ensure that we deliver and we have a great conversation. Yeah, so if you want to know a little bit more about me, I have a background in artificial intelligence. Um, I have about 8 research papers and 6 in the field of artificial intelligence and 2 in the field of blockchain. So you get to understand why I'm passionate and how and why I can speak to these conversations. So yeah, today we are going to be looking at the issues in governance in the past 2 to 3 weeks, what ifs and what not, right? So it's a little bit of we are going to be having analysis of what has happened, um, taking. I'm not going to be taking sides. I'm going to be the showing us all angles with respect to whatever is going on around the conversations, and just allowing us to think, right? So I think for me, at any point in time, you feel like asking a question, responding to whatever I'm saying, please, you can raise your hand, you can type it on the comment, whatever it is, but let's try to engage, because the issue about governance is not something that is just one person. There is no one expert. What makes governance is the fact that we are all involved. So it also means that as a person, I only share my individual opinion on what I think is right. Large possibility that I could be wrong, but hey, being wrong does not necessarily is part of what governance is all about. So yeah, we'll be getting some updates, and I'm sure we are all expecting us to start with the whole Amaru proposal passing through and all of that. But I'm not going to be starting there. I want to start with the with an interesting conversation, right, that happened in the Cardano ecosystem lately. Um, so I want to start by saying Cardano well is out, or Cardano well left Cardano. I don't know how that feels and
My
how.
God, that's breaking news.
Yeah, I want to start by
Cardano was.
sharing. Cardano
Cardano
well
was.
has left. Cardano well has left Cardano.
Why?
Yeah, so I'm sure that's why I said that I want to start with this heartbreaking news. So I'm sure in our minds everybody's saying why, and so I'll be sharing that. But again, I'm going to be sharing it, but I want to get our opinion on this issue and to know what you think about this situation, right? And again, because it's a very core governance issue, right? Part of governance is also the drama, the politics that comes with all of it. So, for some context, for those of you that don't know Cardano well, he's actually a guy, an anonymous account on Cardano, on Cardano Twitter, and he is known very well for always coming up with, like, how do I put it, opposing views, coming up with different angles to issues that are going on in governance in Cardano, right? If this were to be a physical governance system, I would say Cardano well is more like an opposition party, right? And if we understand what opposition parties represent in any good governance, they are the critical voices. They allow us to see what other people are not seeing, or say what other people do not say. So, what how did this happen? One of the things we discovered that Cardano well, so for those of you that also know, Cardano well also had a DREP, right? They also had their own DREP on yeah, they actually, he also whether it's a he or they, whatever you want to put that, registered as a Cardano DREP, right? And then so not just the fact that he was a strong opposition or voice in the Cardano Twitter, he was also a strong DREP who was ensuring that his voice and his wallet was actively speaking to the conversations that were going on in the Cardano ecosystem. So what happened? It was discovered that, so he has been on a loggerhead with IOHK, with Charles Hawkinson, for a long period of time, always opposing Charles Hawkinson on a lot of things. When the controversy about the whole Japan issue came up, he was one of the critical voices as well, that constantly accused Cardano Charles of taking the money from the people that did not claim their money, claim their stake in Japan when the Genesis airdrop or whatever that was. How is that called? Public um, IPO, when the IPO was done, right? So for those who did not stake the IPOs, who did not claim it, he claimed, he was among the voices that claimed that Charles actually took the money and all of those kind of stuff. Charles, of course, came out and defended himself, and also um, uh, uh, told us that there's going to be a report to actually clear up every issue that people might have. This did not stop Cardano Well from being a strong opposition voice. He constantly always attacked Charles. I don't want to use the word attack, permit my wrong voice, because I'm meant to be neutral in this particular conversation, even if I do have opinions, right? So he was always constantly going against Charles in so many ways. Towards the past 2 weeks, I think Charles was also aggressive in responding. Um, and obviously that's because one, he's human, he's a person, and also because yeah, he might have been the founder uh of 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 Cardano, but now we are in the Voltaire era where it's not just dependent on one person. So if Charles is no different from any other member of the community as such. If somebody attack people, or if somebody keeps criticizing you as a member of the community, you have every right to criticize and respond back. So Charles was constantly responding back, obviously with his right as a citizen and a member of the Cardano ecosystem. So he responded back, but some people felt he did that much more aggressively, and then so at a point, Cardano Well was dissatisfied, and he felt that Charles Hawkinson is setting people against him, and obviously we know the normal drama in Cardano Twitter. Another thing that also necessitated Charles' reaction was that it was discovered that um, Cardano Well was always automatically um, voting no on every proposal from IOG. According to him, that I think he wrote a very long thread in one of the rationales, and he used that to put that same rationale on every governance action that he voted no to. According to him, that IOHK has not executed well in whatever they promised the Cardano community. So this set up the first question that we want to ask ourselves. Do we think that the IOHK is actually executing well? That IOHK is executing well with respect to their promises to the Cardano ecosystem? Do we think that they have delivered on their promises? Do we think that Cardano could have been better, or is better now because of what they have done? I would like us to have that conversation as we go deep into governance discussions today. Just to put into context, this has led to a lot of criticism, right, from Charles, and who need Charles have said, he emphasized that, see, you can't just be voting based on emotions, right? So this was one of the things that Charles was reacting to, like, see, we are in governance, and governance entails that people should actually make vote, and people committed their wallets to you. As such, you don't vote because you hate me, because you think I'm not doing well. You have to so emotion should not be the rationale for whatever we do, right? So this whole conversation has raised concerns about personal bias, governance centralization. So first one is personal bias. You can see the bias of of Cardano Well. Two, you can see governance centralization. People are attacking Charles to say, like, why are you against the fact that people are against you, right? If this is a decentralized this thing, you should be okay. Even if people are against you, it's part of this. And so people feel that Charles, in doing this, is actually taking a centralized way, right? And also DREP accountability. These are some issues that this particular conversation actually raises. So I would like to see on the comment, I would like to see anybody that want to raise hand to have a conversation on this. Should uh, um, to what extent do you think that IOHK is delivering well? What makes you think so? What is the role of personal bias in governance actions, in how DREPs vote? What is the do you think Cardano is getting centralized as a result of opposition voices leaving? And how do we hold DREPs accountable? Are DREPs alpha and omega? Can they do whatever they like, and should people never criticize them? I would like to get our opinion on this as we look into other issues that are also emanating from the ecosystem. Yeah, anybody want to say something to that?
Okay. Hmm, I don't know what to say, but looking at all the things going on, I'm not really vexed in the governance system that is going on. But sometimes I think that the decentralization is not helping. I don't know from my point of view, especially looking at the way the D reps are hanging on to this voting system. I have a view that the decentralization is not going on well, and I think that the IHOK should have been more empowered to manage the ecosystem. I don't know. It looks like I came in quite early under Fan 5. And looking at the way things are going, I think things are not going smoothly as it should have gone. That's my opinion.
Well, thank you so much for that opinion. Like we said, this is governance. Every opinion is valid and every opinion is this. So yeah, other people, what do we think? Just to get you guys to know, DREP, Cardano well also deregistered his DREP as well. So he's totally out of the ecosystem. He deleted his Twitter account. He deleted his DREP wallet. All right. So I just want one more reaction. Anybody?
For
And
me,
then
obvious.
yeah,
For me, I think, how do you call it? Cardano will live in the ecosystem is not a good sign, right? For a whale to live, for a whale to become a whale, it means that it believes in the blockchain, right? It believes in Cardano. For him
yeah,
to yeah to raise to that standard, and I'm not sure it's only Cardano will by name, but he might be also loaded with ADA that makes him
yes. He definitely was.
exactly exactly. And he living, I realized that he first of all disconnected his account from becoming a D-Rep, and then also he did what, he has deleted his Twitter account, right? It might
Yeah,
be that someone might have said something that have hurt him, or somebody have criticized him, or like he has seen something, he has foreseen something that we are not seeing, right? And
yeah,
in every system, right, there must be an opposition, regardless. If we want progress,
yeah,
we must have people to say no. We have, so these are the people that bring the checks and balances. They might not be always be right, but they sometimes alert us, right? Sometimes, if you look at me, I like
yeah,
criticizing. Those of you that in a group with me,
yeah,
I don't criticize for the downfall, but I criticize to alert whoever that is leading to think twice, to
yeah,
reconsider some other decisions. And you notice that whenever I criticize, the responses that come back is like a wake-up call, right?
yeah,
But sometimes indirectly, they may trying to defend themselves, but at the long run, at least. So we have actually lost a big opposition, or a big member of the family who's actually helping us. And there might be other people too who are leaving, but because they are not as big as the Cardano will, we might not see, or we might not know, right? So we need to look
yeah,
at the things that are happening that is making these people to leave, right? And then
yeah,
also, I believe a leader who doesn't take criticism very well is not is not that is not that strong to be a leader, right?
yeah,
And also a follower who also gets annoyed and then leaves a community, it's not also being so well, because yeah, you are there to help, right? Leaving will not solve
yeah,
anything. Leaving means that you are gone and the issue will still be there. So where's your loyalty? Right,
yeah,
at the first point. So, and I think one of your questions, yes, decentralization is very good. However, it slows down processes, right, and
yeah,
decision making. But at the long
yeah,
run, power have been distributed in everyone's hands. So it's not unlike the central government that have the upper hand. I think decentralization is good, and we are facing all these things because it is new for us, right? This is new.
Yeah.
The ones who pass through this phase, everybody, including any other blockchain, will be learning from us. So we are just like a case study. And if you do it well, it's going to be it's going to be something that whenever we talk about decentralization, the rare decentralization in blockchain, Cardano's name will be mentioned. Yeah, so that's my submission. Obi, are you there? I've not taken your presentation from you.
No, no, I'm hearing you very well. I had to pause so that since I'm on transit, it to not affect the
Yes.
service. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think yeah, that's fair. I think, but there's a point we are all missing in the conversation.
Mm,
That's the last point, which is the fact that who holds DREPs accountable? And why is it that if we criticize DREPs the same way they are criticizing the system, it becomes an issue, right? DREPs are almost in this new governance system, it feels like DREPs are becoming the new lords, right? Especially DREPs who have the big bucks, right? The likes of the Utah, the likes of Emugo and all these guys that have the big wallets, right? So they constantly criticize the system. They constantly criticize, tell you, oh, this is what we want. This is how we are going to vote. This is going to be the rationale and all of that. But when people come at them as well, they suddenly get angry, throw tantrums, and threaten to leave the ecosystem as though this thing. So the question about who holds the DREPs accountable is one point that we've not been able to answer, right? Who holds the
Yeah.
DREPs accountable themselves?
I think the question skipped me, right? So a D-rep is a D-rep because some people have delegated their ADA for them to take decisions on their behalf. So who holds them accountable are those who have delegated to them. I know Remostat is a D-rep, and I have delegated to Remostat. So I hold the Remostat accountable. Whatever decision that they want to vote on should be of my interest as well as theirs, instead of they doing whatever that they want. So I think individuals that have delegated their ADA to a D-rep should also have a voice. Some people don't take criticism very well, and also some people don't know how to give criticism, so it becomes like an attack, right? And the person receiving it also see it as his effort are not being appreciated. Considering the fact that the reps are not being paid, they are doing a voluntary work and they have to go through all the proposals to make a decision, right? Which entails a lot of work. But however, like I said earlier on, leaving the ecosystem shouldn't be your option. I don't know what other people think. Olivier, I saw your hand earlier on. You want to add something to it? Or Yves?
Yeah, okay. Hello everyone.
Hola,
So
Yeah,
sir.
hi Olivia.
yeah, hi. So I would like also to talk something about this decentralization, which is being held in Cardano through this Voltaire area. So um as I'm thinking, so this matter of DREPs also for me it's looks that it don't give good well it don't define well the decentralization because of this let's say amount, so they take into account amount of headers which are delegated to the DREP. So for me this also isn't because so when for example here is some proposal, I see things like let's say project catalyst. You see for example in vote, so when a proposal was being voted with somebody or a big amount of ADA, so this proposal will pass, things like this. So for me, really, I take an example for here is some blockchain Polkadot. So in Polkadot, how things happen. So there are so every people. every person can just go and vote to referendums or proposals. And so talking about D-Reps, so D-Reps, they don't have even big power in their governments. So for me, maybe this will be done in the future, but there should be some mechanism which will just allow either holders really first to teach them, and then either holders by themselves they begin also to vote for proposals, because so what I realize is that even some DREPs I can delegate to a DREP, but for some cases he can just vote on proposals or abstain, so I will not know what is happening. So, and I don't know in this case how will I be contributing to the decentralization of Cardano. This is my point of view. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Olivia. And like you said, in governance, nobody's wrong. Every opinion is accepted. So yeah, the only thing I would like to remind you is that in Cardano you can still vote individually. Even if you are not a DREP, you can just register as a DREP and vote on whatever you want to vote. But I get your point. And like your point is clear that we are gradually creating a system where we are now having celebrity DREPs, and because of that it's actually affecting the very essence or core of governance. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. You are too.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, still on the issue of abstaining, like I heard you talk about, I think there's been recently there have been conversations going on in the Cardano ecosystem about um, the fact that fewer DREPs engaged in the are getting engaged in governance, in voting, and all of that. Um, I think let me just go through the stats. Let's say, okay, for the Amaru this thing treasury withdrawal, one of the things that we discovered was that only 223 out of 536 active DREPs participated in the vote. Now, and then 12 abstained, and then we have over 7 billion ADA that is currently on auto abstaining out of 12.6 billion available for total voting, right? So 55% of stake is not actively participating at all. So this is actually another conversation that needs to be had in the Cardano governance system, to question about the question about, is it really governance when very few persons are the one making the decision? So just to give context here, in out of the 12.6 billion total voting power that is currently available, we have about 7 billion, that's 55%, that is on inactive. So somebody is already asking himself, how are governance actions then get enacted? I'm going to even come to that, because that's another conversation that we need to have, right? That the Amaru uh, governance action became the first governance action to be enacted on chain for treasury withdrawal. So yeah, we're going to come to that. But the context is this, right? So imagine we have 55% already not actively participating. Then out of that 55, only 205, only 223 voted. So we're already having 45% of available for voting, right? Now, out of that 45%, only 223 out of 553. That's saying about only half of the available vote, which is already less than the total vote, are the people that actually voted. So that means that governance actions can pass even when they don't necessarily represent the majority voice of the community. Somebody asks, how is that possible, right? So the current algorithm is such that what is being looked at is the number of active wallets, the number of active ADA. That's what is being judged at, right? So we don't necessarily look at what is the total power. So even when the total power is, so all those ones that have been automatic not voting, right? Those ones are not necessarily stopping the process because it's not counted as though it's a no. It's counted as if it does not even count at all. So they've automatically put their vote on auto abstain. So it is only the active wallets or active ADA that is being calculated. So for you to pass through for the threshold, for governance action to pass through threshold, what we are looking at is not necessarily the total ADA available for voting, but the total active ADA. So that's how we are able to get ADA that is have less number of ADA, but yet still governance actions can still pass. So this brings the question, right? Is it truly governance when only a few voices can be represented at any point in time? Right? So should we say this whole process, this whole thing is not worth it because it's not possible that, or we cannot get a majority of people to actually give their voice because we know that already 55% of available votes have already auto abstain, and then even the ones that are active, few of them actually participate. So what is our opinion on this? I would like to get our general opinion on this as we respond to this conversation. And I think maybe another part to that question would also be, how do we get more wallets to become active, right? I think that's the second part of the question that comes with that. How do we get more wallets to become active? And then in the case that we continue this trend, we're having a case where we are now having government of minorities, right? Because this is what it feels like, government of the minority. Yeah, just reactions and opinions to this.
At the beginning of the town hall, I told you guys that Obio's style of presentation is top notch, right? He love involving. And the question he just posed is mind blowing. It's a question that needs a lot of thinking, considering the fact that we don't need majority for a proposal to be passed or to be approved. So far as the total voting power matches the threshold. Obio, is that right?
Exactly.
Mm, I see. So
Exactly.
then,
So
mhm.
most of the governance actions that are getting enacted, we are getting a minority voice. So it's now like government of the minority and not even government of majority.
And this becomes an issue, right? This is an issue. Yeah, Olivier, please go ahead before I comes in.
Yeah, thank you again for the floor given. So, if I understood well, let's say, for example, in a government where we have 100 DREPs, and so let's say only 40 DREPs partake in the vote. So, is this the case you are talking about, Sir Obio? Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, very close to
So,
that. The
yeah,
difference
okay.
is this. It's a case that we have 100 people to vote, but 55 people said we are not, we don't give a damn about this process. We don't care what the outcome is. So we automatically remove 55 out of 100 and we are left with 45. As a result of that, it's now the majority of the 45 that that we are now going to be judging the outcome of the electionary process on. We had 100 persons capable, 100% eligible, but 55 say we are not interested. 45 say we will. But even in this 45, we are not even getting everybody participating. At the end, it's probably 30 that participate, and of that 30, it is so far as those 30 can get the threshold out, we are fine. That's the current process and how it looks.
Yeah, okay. So, really for me in this case, I can't take this like a government because we say a government. So I think every actions which are just held in this governments, so they have some impact on all the Cardano community. So in the case, a few number of DREPs are participating in voting action. So I don't think, for my part, I don't think that this such case of actions should be took into account. So maybe my opinion will come in the for the next question. We have to think about how maybe to mobilize even all the reps to partake. But for me, such as actions should not be taken into account. So this is my opinion. Thank you.
Obi, I want to ask a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, do the reps have code of ethics? Because I remember that during the discussions before the constitution was enacted, we said they were going to be, there's supposed to be code of ethics for the reps. Has that code been done?
Up till now, no.
Yes, that's one of the issues. Because me, seriously, this direct thing, I don't know how it came about. It's really disturbing. Because if you have, if there should have been a code of ethics. So those who are abstaining, that they can't vote, they are tired, the proposals are plain, they can't go through. If there was a code of ethics and all these things were spelled out, it couldn't have been so. If there was a code of ethics for them to follow, 50 people, 50 direct cannot say that who don't care, won't do anything about it. There should be sanctions for the reps that don't really act on what they are supposed to do. I know it's a decentralized world, but we can't just go like that. I don't know what others think, but we need a code of ethics for the reps.
Just to give context, if a DREP does not participate in voting over a long period of time, I think after is it 4 to 5 epochs, that DREP is automatically not five. I'll get the exact number in our next call or subsequently and put it up. But yeah, there is actually a stipulated number of times that if a DREP is not active, such DREP becomes inactive. That's to say, it's automatically removed, right? So just to put in context, because again, the argument from the other side is this, that if we say it's truly governance, then what about when I don't have an opinion on a governance issue? Should I vote because it's meant to be voted? Like, for example, uh, uh, yeah, do I just vote without a rationale, or do I just vote because I need to vote? You get, so
Yes, you
these
can
are some,
abstain. Because if you
yeah,
don't vote, does your vote goes to abstain? No, it's hanging in there. So if you don't have an opinion on it, you abstain. So it's counted an abstain vote. And then
yes,
again, I don't know how they are accountable to, as Olivier said, accountable to the people they have delegated to them. How are they accountable to them? Are they supposed to go back to the people and say that, I have voted on this, or does he seek? It's just like the MP. I don't know. People are voted into parliament to speak on behalf of their constituencies. You see that at
yeah,
the
but
end of the
again,
day. Mhm.
yeah, again, in governance, um, silence can also be strategic, right? Sometimes being quiet on a governance action can also be a strategy in itself. So we penalizing people who at every point in time did not feel like, or they were quiet on a particular issue, can also be seen from another angle as being uh, punitive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like we said, we are all learning the ropes of governance, and governance is a very difficult thing because there is no right or wrong answer to all of these things. But again, Yeah, just to let us know how it is. And again, there is also the whole conversation about voting fatigue, right? Uh, this is another conversation that we needed to also have, like, but I think that has already been sorted out when the likes of Utah and uh, which other person was there? I think we had Utah, and I'm trying to recall which other top D-Rep was making that argument that they want all the 39 proposals that are going to be listed, um, that they should be listed one after the other, right? So D-Reps have to vote 39 times. Don't forget, D-Reps are not incentivized, at least currently with the current system. So they were arguing that they want the D-Reps to vote on 39 proposals 39 different times, right? Because that there are some proposals that they do not agree. Intersex wanted to wrap up everything into one and submit, and they were like, no, they don't want that, and all of this whole stuff. So you can see the whole conversation and how this goes, right? So another part of this whole thing is the argument on voting fatigue, because if you are this is a volunteer job and you have to be voting 39 times on something you've already done temperature check and done vote off chain, right? Why do we still need to come on chain again and do 39 times? And how does this affect the DREP rationale, the DREP, how do I put it, his mindset or his time and all of those kind of stuff? So it's a very complex conversation that we are having right here. Um, D-reps be compensated? Will that actually make them to become much more active? The whole conversation on voting fatigue, right? Having to vote. In fact, sometimes, like, I don't know. So for us, even in the ICC, it gets even a little bit tough for us, right? Because all of us, you need to give rationale. You need to vote on things, and sometimes people just come on chain just to write things. They just want to make just an info action. They just want a reaction from the ecosystem. And we have to constantly vote on these things, whether they are important or not. Don't get me wrong. Uh, on my own opinion, I think that extremely important governance actions should be treated differently, right? But we cannot. So we are having a treasury withdrawal, right? And that treasury withdrawal is actually very important one. Then I feel that we should all partake. But when the treasury withdrawal or a governance action is just a governance action for the sake of the governance action, do we expect D-reps and in extension the members of the ICC to spend hours in discussing these things that sometimes don't even have on-chain effect? So these are some of the issues that keep rising from this part. So I'm just gonna rush through, give some 1-2 updates just for sake of this thing, because I want. But yeah, updates. We just like I already stated earlier, that the Amaru Treasury withdrawal governance action was actually enacted on the 20 the on the is it on the yeah, it was enacted. I'm trying to remember the dates. That should be uh 26th of June, right? I'm trying to get that date clear. So I'm not with my PowerPoint, so I can get some of the facts not clear there. And then, so yeah, just to put that context out, um, in case you do not know what the Amaru proposal is, you can actually go check it through and see what it was about. Yeah. Um, Another one is to let us know that all the 39 proposals that were actually gotten um, on chain, that off chain, that were voted on chain and accepted by the community off chain, has actually been put by Intersect for community voting by the DREPs. It will be in the interest of all the DREPs, and if you do have your own DREPs, to remind them to vote for whatever position you think they should vote with respect to this particular governance action. I think it's a very important governance action, and like I say, for me, I strongly side with the. I don't think I side with the idea that DREP should vote on everything, but I think very important governance actions like this one should all members and all directors, right? So let's see how this can be voted, right? And let's get across our proposals in. Let's not also forget that part of this governance action, looking at it from the African point of view, is the fact that if these governance actions pass through, especially the Cardano Summit, right, we have a vested interest. Last year, we came up with the idea of decentralizing Cardano Summit, having a regional approach to Cardano Summit. We in CAT was the one that put up that proposal, and with the help of WADA, we were able to push this together, and as a community, we were able to get the Cardano ecosystem to listen. So this government is right. So this is where our own vested interest in comes in. It will mark one the first time that we've been able to, as a community, come up with an idea, push it to the Cardano Foundation, and then get the whole community to actually accept a particular idea that came directly from CAT itself. I think directly attributed to. So this would be a very tremendous one for us. And if we would, so let's call our D reps, everyone that we know, and try to push this to pass, especially the Cardano Summit 2025, right? Because we have a vested interest in that particular project, and this would be very helpful for us to see an idea that sparked out of a town hall like this going ahead to actually affect the community and the way things are being done in the community. Again, the politics of it is very clear. We've got Utah and the rest of the guys asking what are the capacity and capabilities of the guys to that we have to be able to execute on this project that they only know Ray Evo. But again, this was the very idea around taking Cardano Summit to regional base so that the community understands that we have capacity, and this capacity is not only based in Las Vegas, it's not only based in Ray Evo, we have this capacity as well in Africa as well. So yeah, I want to stop here with regards to updates. There is always drama with regards to Cardano. There's always drama with regards to governance, but I would just want to stop here for now.
Thank you very much, Obio, for the in-depth analysis and in-depth information that you have shared with us. And now your governance has become very clear to us, and what is actually happening in the ecosystem and the importance of the DREPs. If you are now joining us today, we are having governance update discussing all the what ifs and the why nots. And our resource person is Obio, the Chief Executive Officer of Remostat, Community Manager for African Town Hall, and also an Interset committee member. Obio, thank you very much for the update that you have given us so far. It's very informative, and we appreciate you. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and wrap things up, right? So some of you might be aware, right? But Project Catalyst was launched on Wednesday, right? It was announced on July 21st, and then it was launched on 20 23rd July, which is on Wednesday that just passed. So we should be expecting Fan 14 very soon in the week of 28th July, which is next week, right? Within next week, Fan 14 will be open for submission. So those of you who have brilliant ideas that you want to submit, you can start drafting your proposals. And African Town Hall, as usual, we'll be having series of workshops to take you guys through how you can sharpen your skills in terms of writing a very good and quality proposal, right? Most of us have the ideas, but how to make it appealing is the issue. So we'll be here to help you. We will also be doing our tradition, idea first. The opportunity we give to the Cardano community to share their incredible proposal with the community, and also ask for voters, right? So we'll also be doing that. So Project Catalyst submission start from the week of 28 July and it will end somewhere August 18. So approximately 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It's not only about proposal writing, right? You can also participate in Project Catalyst by becoming a community reviewer, which can also generate some funding for you, right? So watch out for the registration links we'll be sharing with you and in our community groups on our Telegram. So please, if you are not on Telegram, Mr. Richmond Opon will be sharing our social medias with us right now. Kindly join our Telegram group so that you get to know the update and when you should register to become a community reviewer to earn some money. And this is going to be in the week of 28 July to August 18. That's the registration period. And your work is very, very, very interesting, right? You reviewing the proposals and then giving them, ranking them based on some criteria. One of them is if the proposal is feasible, if the team are capable, and if the money that they have requested is reasonable, right? Just read it and then make an informed decision, then rank them. The more you read proposals, the more you get to understand how you can write a good proposals. And those of you who have done this before, you might be promoted to level one or to be promoted to become a moderator, right? Or by level two. So we'll be discussing all these things in on our next meeting. On our next meeting in August, our first meeting in August, we'll be discussing all of this. Voting will also start, voting registration will start 30th July. So let's see, but the dates here are subjective to change. They are not fixed dates, they are subjective to change. So um when it changes, we'll keep you updated. But for now, this is what we have on our timetable from Project Catalyst office, from the office of Project Catalyst. So this is the update that we have. There will be a voting power snapshot, which will be somewhere in September, 6 September. So make sure when you are registering, you register with the wallet that contains your ADA. I'm sure we are still maintaining the low power ADA. Was it 25 ADA the last time from 13 or 50 ADA? I can't remember, but it's between.
It was 25.
Yes, 25 ADA. So
And
as mhm.
Danny, one thing that we have to let people be aware, we are not using ideal scale again. So they should
Okay.
check on the link and find out. They should check on the Wednesday. I wish we could have posted it
Okay.
here, but
So
we still have time. You could look in our chats, join our pages. We are going to post it there. The link that they are going to use for the proposals. We are not going to
okay.
use ideal scale anymore.
Yes. So those of you who have not heard Madam Efe's voice before, she is our coordinator. She's worked behind the scenes. So she is doing extremely well as well. If you are new here, welcome. And I introduce you to our coordinator, Madam Efe. So yes, like she said, we will not be using idea scale, and I'm sure we'll be using projectcatalyst.io. I'm sure, but I will keep ourselves updated. Our next meeting will be on 8th August. If nothing crosses our way, we'll meet again and then take you through how you can register your wallet and become a voter, and how you can take part in the project, how you can also propose and other stuff. And if you have a project you want to collaborate with African Town Hall or you want to share with us, also our doors are always open and we'll be willing to assist you. Please, if you are on X, Twitter, kindly follow us as well on Twitter and help us to grow. Retweet our tweets and add comments Sometimes too, you can take a screenshot of our meeting and then write something, right? Hashtag I'm currently at African Town Hall discussing everything Cardano, right? Help us to grow as we keep you informative or as we keep you informed. Without wasting much time, once again, thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Inzula, thank you for joining us today. We have not seen you for a very long time. Mr. Inzula. Mr. Inzula is the one who manufactured the blockchain in the box in Africa, first time in Africa. A very brilliant man. And I always talk about his innovation whenever I go for ambassadors meeting. And I want to use a use case, Cardano use case in Africa. I do reference on a project and other project that Accra Resource Center and Remo Stats are doing, and as well as the awesome workshops we are all doing in your community. So officially, the Catalyst African Town Hall have closed for today, and we'll be meeting again on the 8th with a lot of information. Publicity will be going out very soon on the next meeting. If you want to watch today's meeting again, we'll be sharing with you the link, the recorded link. It will be uploaded on YouTube, and you get a chance to watch again and share in your community. Okay, so I say good night, au revoir, bonne nuit. Have a good night or good afternoon wherever you find yourself today. Enjoy the rest of your night and happy weekend. Bye bye.